Now it's time to get into some serious editing tools within Blender. I've got a cube created here and we're going to work on this cube, and we're not going to save this cube really. So if you're making adjustments along with me in time with the video, you may get some unexpected results from time to time. Don't worry, anything we do to this cube is going to be tossed at the end of this video. But I do encourage you to have fun and experiment with these tools. It's the best way to learn them, in my opinion. Some editing for this cube. First, we need to switch from object mode to edit mode. And doing that, if you recall, puts us in that point line plane or vertex, edge, and face mode. And when in that mode, we can do some pretty wonderful things. But first, to point out a few things that have changed with our interface, when we go to edit mode, we also see that we've got a few more icons on the left-hand side. We're going to mess with the top couple in this video, and then a few more in the videos yet to come. Let's go ahead and put ourselves in face mode. I've selected one of the faces, and I've used my middle mouse button just to move around and orbit the camera so that I can see the face from a slight angle. I'm going to right click on that face and I'm going to see a lot of options. This is called the context menu, and right now the options that we have are unique to editing faces. So I can do things like subdivide, extrude, I can smooth shade the object, I can split, I can dissolve faces, I can delete faces, and so forth. I'm going to take you through each of these functions one by one, and then encourage you to experiment a little bit after this video just to get more comfortable. First things first, I'm going to skip subdivide because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense just yet. Let's go to extrude. It's the fun one. Click extrude, and immediately you will see that I can pull out this face. Click it again, and I'm able to extrude again and again. I can click a different face and continue my extrusion and make what looks to me a little bit like a Tetris style block. Now there's multiple ways to get this done. You've heard me use that phrase before. I'm going to use it again here in this instance. I can click on the extrude region button, and it gives me a little bit more of a iconic interface to extrude my faces with. Maybe it's a little bit faster. I don't have to right click. I can simply click and drag on each of the faces that I want to extrude, and away I go. In my opinion, this is quite therapeutic. It's almost like doodling for 3D artists. It's just building out interesting shapes with a couple of clicks, taking no time at all. However, extrusions don't always have to happen in this way. I'm going to delete this cube by right-clicking in the outliner and choosing delete. I can also delete that cube by going back into object mode, selecting the cube, and hitting the delete key. Let's add a new cube. Oops. Let's add a new cube. Take two. With this new cube, I'm going to go back into edit mode, and I'm going to show a few other methods of extrusion, or rather a few different modes of extrusion. I'm going to exclude manifold for now because we're not going to see its benefit just yet. But I am going to look at extrude individual. When I extrude individual, I'm going to use this yellow handle to extrude all of the faces. But if you notice, when I extrude them, instead of it making just the same cube larger, it is extruding each of the faces individually. Now this is pretty helpful, but this graphic right now doesn't really show how helpful that is. So I'm going to take this face and I'm going to extrude a region, and I'm going to extrude it again. Now I'm going to take these three faces, and when I extrude them up, you can see that they stay connected. In fact, if I grab this face and I move it around, it stays connected to the rest of the structure. But let's say I wanted to make a hand. I wanted a hand with 3 fingers. I could extrude each face individually, sure, and thus get 3 fingers, each of which, when moved, becomes disconnected, allowing me to spread the fingers and give more of a hand look. However, if I change my extrusion method and extrude individual, I can get all of that done in one move just by changing the mode. So now you can see that I still have my 3 fingers, but with many fewer clicks, which after all, when you spend weeks or months or even years in 3D modeling, saving 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there will really make you more efficient and more in demand in the marketplace. We have one more extrusion type that I'll show, extruding along normals, but I might show that closer to the end of this video. We'll come back to that. I'm continuing to undo here, back to my original cube, and I'm going to move down into the inset faces option. I'm going to select the left side face. I'm going to click inset, and as I drag on the object, you can see that it insets that face and kind of creates a small, it's not a stroke, but it creates a small outer area around that inset face. Now, why would we want to do this? Well, combined with the extrude, this allows me to make some pretty interesting shapes. Like for example, let's say we wanted this to be a building. Buildings frequently have a small rim around the top that keeps as like an edge detail or something similar. With a quick inset and with a quick extrude, we can give the illusion of that raised trim piece around a building pretty quickly. So I use insets quite a lot. They're very helpful. Next is bevel. Bevel allows us to not only extrude but also control some size. So as I use bevel, when paired with, let's say this face here, might give me a bit of an option, not giving me the best results. Let's try it again on this side. It is beveling, but it will need a little bit of a movement. Because of the extrusion, it inverted some of those faces. On a fresh cube, this should have a little bit better result. Let's see if that's true. Object mode, delete, add, mesh, cube, edit mode, face mode, bevel, and you can see that as I bevel it, it's pushing those edges back by default. Many 3D software, the bevel intends to push out from the face, and this one pushes in from the face. So just something to keep in mind. If you're using tools like Lightwave, 3D Studio Max, or Maya, your bevels typically will come out from the face. Blender does it a little differently. It kind of pushes your edges back. Further editing tools. So we've done extrusions. We've taken the moment to do the other tool-based edits, insert faces and bevels. Let's continue down the context menu and look at other options here. Poke faces is an ability to split the faces into a triangle pattern. And this is helpful in case you want to create a spiked top to any of your shapes. Let's say you're building out that hand and you want to narrow the ends of your polygons to make fingers or something similar. And you can pull these out by maybe grabbing a single point. So that's what poke faces will do, is it'll divide your polygons of 4 sides into triangles of 3. Backing that off, continuing down the context menu. We have a few options: UV unwrap, triangulate. We're not going to work on those just yet, as well as some smoothing options that we'll come back to later. It is time to look at subdivide, so I'm going to go to that one. If I right click and do subdivide, you can see that it chops up my object into similar typed polygons, meaning we have still 4-sided polygons here, but now I have 4 squares instead of just 1. And having 4 polygons allows me to do things like extrude them individually, and just get a little bit more geometry where I need. I can select these four and I can unsubdivide as well, which doesn't have always a most positive effect. So undoing is best for now. Stepping back here. And I can also delete faces. Now deleting faces doesn't have a whole lot of use just yet, but it allows me to create a hole where that polygon was, allowing me to do other things that I might need to do with that polygon later on. There are additional tools in the context menu for edges. So we can do things like crease edges, mark them sharp, and so forth. We'll come back to those options once we get into more advanced tools. Same for points. Points, we have additional push, pull, shrink, flatten, beveling vertices, and so forth. We'll come back to those tools at a later time.